Hey guys, Mr. Jenkins here. Just wanted to make a quick video about kind of going over the high points of your Chapter 6 performance task, which will be in place of your test for Chapter 6. So first of all, where do you find it? You can find it in upcoming assignments up there until it's due on Friday at 5, or it's linked in today's post. Either way, when you click it, it'll take you right here, which is the directions and all that good stuff. So let's just kind of get right to it. It says this will act as your assessment of learning for Chapter 6. That means that you will not take a traditional test over this chapter. This is it, guys. You will have to make a copy of the Chapter 6 performance task template so that you can edit it. Use the rubric as a guide to complete and make improvements to the product. So I'm going to stop reading there and kind of show you a couple things. So I would suggest using that rubric a lot as you're working, as you're editing, etc. Okay, if you click right here where it says rubric, you're not really going to see much. You just see that one category is called graphing, one's called substitution, and then how many points you get. That's more for me to actually grade your work so that you can see how you did on each slide. So I didn't mean to X out of that. Bear with me just a second. So anyways, that's not the one you're going to want to look at. You can find the rubric, a detailed rubric, both in the directions here. Which I'm going to leave up. So the rubric in the directions is the very last page of the document. Sorry, kind of trying to rush it here. So here's your rubric. I'll reference that again once we get going. And this other attachment is your template. So this is the one that you will not be able to edit. This is going to be kind of where you start making your project. Now you can make it pretty, you can change the background, you can change the font. You just need to make sure of things like, is it legible? Is it easy to read? Does it flow well? Does it look good? Is it aesthetically pleasing? That kind of stuff. All right, so make sure that it looks nice. And again, you will not be able to edit these slides. You have to make a copy. So you open it from there, you go to File, you go to Make a Copy, and then of course you'll want the entire presentation. Okay, once you do that, you can name it whatever you want to name it, and then go from there. So let's go back to the directions. And just kind of go through it real quick. All right, so step 1, pick 3 applications problems. So we're going to solve each one with a different method, right? So you got one you're going to choose to solve by graphing, one by substitution, one by elimination. It says show all steps in solving the problem. More on that in a second about what that means. And then a sentence basically telling why you chose that method. So here are your step 1 choices. As you can see, there are 6 word problems, also known as application problems. All right, so you'll pick 3 from this 6. One that you're going to solve by graphing and just kind of looking through it. I can tell you number 1, probably not going to be great by graphing because you got numbers like 0.55, 0.07, 2.41. Whereas, you know, number 4, it has more round numbers, 30,000, 2,000, 25,000, etc. That might be a good candidate for graphing. All right, but that's kind of your thought process. And again, you're going to choose 3 from here. And so let's just go look at what it would take to get a 5 out of 5 on, say, the graphing slide. It says the problem is solved correctly, so hopefully that's obvious. You would need to get that to get a 5 out of 5. I wanted to hit on this second sentence, though. It says all 4 steps are shown. So what 4 steps am I referring to there? Is the rubric referring to? It's the 4 steps that we really hit on in lesson 6.4. You can look back at the 6.4 notes, the 6.4 extra practice. Basically, those steps are: step 1, define the variables. That's where you tell me what X is and what Y is. Step 2, solve your system, either by graphing or elimination or substitution. Step 3 would be to, let's see, did I skip one? Solve, define, okay, yeah, I did, sorry. Step 1 is you want to define your variable. Step 2 is you want to write your equations. That's the step I skipped. Step 3, solve. And step 4, formalize, meaning don't just leave your final answer in ordered pair form. So like 5, 6 wouldn't be a good answer, but that's where you would put the label on it. 5 whats, 6 whats, okay, that kind of thing. So those are the 4 steps. And again, since I kind of stumbled over that, to recap, step 1, define your variables. Step 2, write your 2 equations. Step 3, solve your system. Step 4, formalize your answers. So you can really lean on this rubric to, make sure that you're providing all the information that you need. Okay, so that's step 1. We'll look at the slides and what those look like for step 1. Obviously, this is your cover page. So second slide says I chose number blank, so this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 to solve by graphing, because why, right? And then just tell me a reason, and you can type it right there. And then you can insert your work as a picture. For graphing, I don't know how else you would do it than just by a picture of your handwritten work. Even if you're using Desmos, a screenshot of Desmos would not be good enough. I want to see, you can use Desmos, but I want to see that you put it on paper as far as showing your work. Now, obviously, we want to be neat here, so graph paper would be advisable. If you don't have graph paper, you can always Google something like first quadrant graph. And I like to go to images, but it brought up some images there. So that would be a good one you could use right there, because it's not numbered and stuff. And so you can use your own scale, but you can pick the one that works for you. That's if you didn't have graph paper. As far as the next couple slides, I would say for substitution or for elimination, you could do a picture there of handwritten work, or you could maybe even type it in for those. That'd be your call. Okay, that takes us to step 2. So let's look at the directions for step 2. Step 2, pick one system of inequalities to graph it, and put a picture of your work in the Google Slides. So your main work for this is going to be just the graph, really, okay, especially if you're leaning a lot on Desmos. But you'll pick one from these 3 for your step 2, right? So I chose number 1, 2, or 3 for inequalities. You don't have to say why. I just need to see it worked out. And that would probably be a picture as well. Again, if you just take a screenshot of Desmos, that's not going to be good enough, okay, to get you many points. And then your 6th slide is where you do your paragraph. That is your 3rd and final step from here. Write one paragraph answering one of the following prompts. You're either going to explain which method of solving systems is your favorite and why, or choose one method of solving either graphing, substitution, or elimination, and explain that process step by step. To me, that probably seems a little bit easier to write 5 sentences about, but that's just me. It's nice to have options. So that's basically a summary, all right? And again, just kind of key points would be that this thing is due Friday by 5. That may change if we have more snow days, which there's a good chance we will. But for now, let's assume it's due Friday. I would highly suggest you get the work done by Thursday. try to get it done by Thursday. That way on Friday, you can go back in with the rubric, kind of self-grade your work and make edits from there. All right. Obviously, your goal for the graphing slide and all 3 of these would be a 5 out of 5. So, are you showing me everything I need for that? If you submit this on time and it's anything less than an 80%, you'll be allowed to do addition with corrections for a top score of 80%. Okay, so there's no reason, if you stick with me on this, you do everything on time, you get a score less than 80. All right. So I'm sure you guys will have plenty of questions, but that should at least be good enough. This video, along with all the directions and everything, that should be good enough to get you started. Don't put this off till Friday. If you do, there's no way you'll submit your best work. Like I say, show up for these meets. Let me know what kinds of questions you have, and hopefully we can submit some quality work, because this is your test for Chapter 6. I think there was one last thing before I end this. So it says the scores out of 23, it's actually weighted as double in PowerSchool. So that means that it's basically worth 50 points. It's worth 46. So that makes it more comparable to the other big testing projects we've done this year. Either way, whether it's worth 23 or 46, doesn't really matter now, because it will be your only assessment score. So it's going to have a big effect on your overall grade. So do good work. We spent a lot of time on this. So, you know, I'm looking for good quality work versus quantity, right? You're really only doing 4 problems. So this is a quality over quantity kind of a. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close the event.